sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. the colors. Summer love, roses and love, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love, remember when we were getting nowhere fast, when the garden won't stop giving back honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen in all the colors. Summer love, memory, washed in every shade of green in all the colors. Summer love, remember the lazy river day canoe, bathing in the turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another beach pile sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove. That's sure something I could use.
Yeah. There you go. 4 times. Then move the thumb down. And just move the pinky down. Here it is. Left hand. It starts out with your first note. It just goes to A to E.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word.
Yeah, the next car on the right.
Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost the hope.
Platform. I got you. And you'll take the trolley 3 stops. We're approaching our next stop. This is Anaheim.
With roses, I can't help but dream away. Standing on a field with you and flowers everywhere. Maybe there is a star with your name. One thing I know is that there should be. There is no one has a heart as pure, no, not yours.
you're headed to the Padres game at Petco Park, you'll
what?